sometimes it's just great to take a deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out, all of that. Worry, all of that. Whatever it is that's trapped inside, maybe in the throat, in the heart, in your gut. Strange. Strange. The universe is a strange place. The great mystery. The unexpected. You can never tell what's around the next corner. I think even the most enlightened soul, the enlightened entity on this planet, cannot know what's actually happening next. You could have some kind of interpretation. You could say, whatever happens, happens. And you would be right, but you know what I mean. And I guess when the unknown unfolds, when the great mystery reveals itself, or pieces, through time, we call that knowing. Maybe we call it information, data, enlightenment, seeing. Life reveals itself to us as our plans maybe fail or maybe just go slightly astray. The universe reveals its true nature, its true truth. And we see that our course, that our plans that we set were merely like ships setting sail on a sea. And eventually the ship goes off course. But the course is now and here, so no matter what the course is supposed to be, we find ourselves here. And we have to realign our course, reset our course each time based on the information that's coming. And information has value. Especially for us human beings, information is an essential part of our lives. Essential. And information has value. Your name has value. Your address has value. Your birth date has value. The list of books you like has value. What value, may you ask? Well, information is power. And information is transferable and collectible. And from that information you can calculate when somebody's going out, when someone's coming home, how they're living their lives. So take an example. You may be a man, goes down the pub, down to the local bar for a drink every week, and one day you meet some guy, he comes across and you get chatting. Nice looking guy really, for a guy as it seems, muscly bloke. And you get talking to him about women, and you start talking about your own girlfriend and how she makes a great apple pie and she's really good at knitting. And then the man says to you, you know, can I have your girlfriend's telephone number? Would you just give your girlfriend's telephone number? Okay, say the guy wants nothing from your girlfriend. Maybe he's like actually gay and he's after you, but he still wants your girlfriend's telephone number because he likes apple pie. You still don't give it because it's not yours to give. You see, information is power. And it's not necessarily power for the one who has it. You know, so it's the same when we're asked our name, or any information that we're asked, anything that's collected from us as information. It's energy, it's power, it's a part of us, and it's to be used with great responsibility. Information. You know, if we want to become masters of ourselves, if we want to become the highest of authority over ourselves, if we want to become sovereign, this means there's no other higher authority above us other than our Creator. Say God, or the divine, the cosmos, the universe, whatever you call your Creator. There's nothing stands between you and that when you are sovereign, when you are the master of your own affairs. But when we accept living in a lower level, under authority, as we accept the rules of authority as being laws, we accept the fact that we can follow a white line instead of following our own intuition. If we fall into this category, then we often make the presumption that laws apply to us. Laws of gravity apply, but not everywhere the same. You see, in society, those beginners, the children, the ones who are growing into life, they need protection. They need protection from society, from each other, from everything. They need care, protection. But they don't need overprotection. They just need for us to look out and listen for them. And that's why social rules are in place, for the protection of the children. But over the time we fall into that category as adults when we're not careful. We fall into the category of wards of the state, which is an equivalent state to children, really. And it's socially acceptable for adults to act like children, to talk to each other in childish ways, to dishonour each other, to make false presumptions, to make a presumption that somebody's maybe evil or doing the wrong thing. Now, regardless of right or wrong, we can't really pass judgment for the other person. We can't really say, you're wrong, without at least involving an unbiased party. And if you enter a dispute, then you cannot judge that dispute fairly. You will always judge your own side. And it's not about right or wrong. It's just about people making presumptions and thinking that just being right is the correct path, when that path leads to sorrow, pain, misunderstanding. Because, as I've already said, life is a mystery, and we don't all know all of the information. And so nobody is responsible for everything. And so therefore, unless you know what pieces of information is omitted, then you have to think carefully about the presumptions you make. It's a bet. It's a bet. It's almost like gambling to say this is right or this is wrong. It's a gamble. And I don't mind placing that bet. But it's a bet that's to be very carefully placed, based on information, based on experience, based on wisdom, based on knowledge, even maybe based on a hunch. But all of those together. Not just this emotional, childish response to the world and think that just because we feel we're right and we've got all of the angles covered, it's no reason to say we're right. We can miss one small piece of information that means that our conclusion was a waste of time and a waste of energy. And also, if we make presumptions to others with false information without making sure that we're presenting that information in at least slightly unbiased way, so it's not accusative, so it's not pointing the finger too much at anybody. We have to calm down with our accusations and stand up to that what we want and not what we think that other people are doing wrong. We can give other people clues, but you know how hard it is to take advice. You know how hard it is yourself when someone tells you something's going wrong, and you know you're your own worst critic anyway. Sometimes I'd love it if people would point out my mistakes, but I don't know if I could handle the truth. I don't know if they'd be right, and I don't know if I'm supposed to make these mistakes. I don't think perfection is at all necessary in that way. If you look at trees and nature, it grows organically. It's not straight lines, it's circles and triangles. It has life in every part of it. And you can't blame the nature for being hard on you. You can't blame the weather. You can't blame the cold for being cold. You can't even blame yourself. And sometimes you just have to take that deep breath and let go for a moment. Find yourself in a neutral space. Relax and sit down and just let go. Because if you can't let go of that emotional burden, you're just stuck with your own burden. It's your own burden. It's your own world. We share it, but it's yours. It's your world. It's your life. This isn't like a shared life that you've just entered. This is your life that you share with others. So share what you feel you want to share, and don't let others take what you don't want to be taken. What belongs to you. Look after each other. Look out for each other. But don't overprotect and don't demand and presume and expect and think you know better for others. Because often you wouldn't know better for yourself. I'm sure we can all agree. But I speak at this point because it's somehow when we lose our balance in a social conversation or context, chatting away or in a telephone conversation that gets heated, we lose our balance and begin to say things we don't mean. Maybe then it's the time to just take a breath, to maybe just move away from the situation a little. Just enough distance so the flames don't burn, so we can cool down and find the centre, because nothing justifies. Nothing. You have no rights you can demand. You deserve nothing. You have everything. You're worth billions. But accessing that part of yourself that is that rich part, that is that beautiful part, that is that understanding part, that is that unbiased referee. Because often when we get into a dispute, we feel like we need to put on the colour and become a team, join sides. And I like the role of referee. That's what I try and do on this channel. With so many people joining one side, so many people joining another side, and almost celebrating those teams with such crowd-like mentality, following. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people all joining in the football, but the one person who has no interest in either side winning is the referee. And he makes a big decision. He makes a big decision for thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. One man, a referee. I think we should all try and look through the eyes of that referee. Yeah, it's just a thought anyway. So thanks for listening, and thanks for your attention as always, and see you later. Cheerio.